Okay, and take 6. Hello and welcome to a Polytopia video recording. My name is Disco.
And my name is Mcompany.
Today we're going to be bringing you some commentary for a 1v1 match between two top-level players on the Poly Champion server. We have Bakalol versus Pewq.
In this match, it will be a tiny map with both players playing Legorooj. It will also be a bullet style match, so all the turns are going to be really fast.
Okay, well, let's get into it. So we're going to be starting here on turn 3, where from Bakalol's perspective, and he is about to take his second city as well as claim a ruin. Let's see what happens.
So from his ruins, he gets 3 population, and then immediately buys forestry. But before upgrading his capital, decides to move his warrior, and then
And he's
upgrades
gonna
his capital.
Yeah, he wanted to scout just to make sure that the border expansion wasn't going to infringe on any resources. So if like that city was southeast rather than southwest, he might not have gone for that.
Yep.
And he's going to go straight for mathematics. Oh, that's a really good one. Having catapults on a tiny map can be really, really deadly.
Not to mention that with the position he has a lot of forests to just get a giant dish turn, which is really early for most tiny maps.
Yeah, a turn 4 giant, sometimes with Luxor, though, that's really where that tribe shines. Getting able, especially with the mathematics tech, he will be able to create some sawmills for potentially multiple giants in multiple cities. And there's the giant. And is he going to go for the double giant? He can chop 2 and place a sawmill.
Yeah.
But then he's going to then need to get organization. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he's considering whether or not he really wants to chop them or just not bother. He could also use the monument to get a double giant, but instead he's going to choose to use the monument to scout out his opponent, where he's going to get organization and see that his opponent also has a giant.
So it's actually a quite even start. Okay, interesting. He's going to leave those other chops. Some people that like to chop more aggressively might have gone for those 2 tree chops and then used them to upgrade the second city to level 3.
But I believe
it looks like he's not going to go for that.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to save that chop so that he can get the other giant with just his sawmill and the fruit. So for here, it seems like PQ is just moving warriors forwards.
I mean, you have to be aggressive on tiny maps like this.
Yeah. Though sometimes being a little too aggressive can mean that you just have all your units too weakened, and on tiny maps like this, unit advantage is definitely really important.
We're already going to have some interesting shadow boxing between these two players on getting this third city. It looks like Bakalol definitely has a slight advantage to get the city, but Pewq, we'll see what he's going to do.
Right. Also, the city is going to definitely be a point that this is definitely going to matter who wins, because PQ doesn't look like he have another city outside of his capital. So
yeah, it looks like there might only be 5 cities on this map total, which is really tough.
And it looks like instead of being aggressive with his second city, Bakalol is choosing to scout out the city in the corner and just move around the city just to be safe.
Yeah, if he went straight for the occupy, then it would be pretty easy for Pewq to turn around and get that city. So he's going to kind of leave that one in contention, especially now that he knows he already has a 2-1 city advantage. So he can play a little bit more defensive here. Yep. And there's the second giant as well, as we expected. And let's see what Pewq is going to do here. He's got a lot of units pushed pretty far into the middle, which is not good. It'll be kind of easy for Bakalol to kind of clamp on him, especially with this giant coming straight through the middle.
Yeah.
But there are definitely a few options for him at the moment.
Now, while I don't think PQ could actually see this, given that he doesn't have a second city to get an explorer from, one thing is that PQ still has a good warrior spread to block off any units outside of the one unit that Bakalol has near the city. So it will take a while for Bakalol to actually fight for that city, given that he went to explore that corner.
Absolutely. And let me see what else is going on. Okay, so he's going to play also a little bit more conservative.
Yeah.
No one really ready to go for that city yet. It looks like Pewq is definitely going to position himself to be at an advantage. And there's the fifth city from Bakalol. There may be a sixth one down there, but that's really hard to tell. Oh, it looks like
There's
it's
not
a
going to be
five-city.
a sixth one. But yeah.
It's looking like a five-city game.
It currently looks as though Bakalol can more safely play from just can more safely play around the city instead of just trying to just go for it. While PQ has to kind of move the units so that like nothing really dies, just because of the city disadvantage.
Yeah, but he can't wait too long because now he's outnumbered 3-1 on giants and 2-1 on cities. So the longer he stays at a disadvantage, it's gonna just get worse and worse for him.
Yeah.
So he's got to do something quick, either some sort of a counter pressure or a move that's going to ensure that he can get that city. Because if his giant goes too far one way or the other, Bakalol can just march his giants straight over to the capital. It's going to be pretty hard for Pewq to do much about that.
It almost seems as though a few turns back, PQ should have just went for the city. But like I said before, he can't actually see what Bakalol is going to do, so he can't actually know that Bakalol doesn't have anything waiting for him. But it looks like PQ is going to get roads and try to kill off the warrior that he can see, and then get the city afterwards with his giant.
Yep, that's a really nice play from Pewq right there. Now he knows that the potential reinforcements coming from Bakalol probably won't get there in time. But as we were also talking, he's moving his giants farther and farther away from his capital. So that is inviting easy counter pressure from Bakalol to just go straight up to his capital. Kind of like what you were saying, where he was being really expansive with his units, and there's already a lot of daylight behind him. And unfortunately for him, Bakalol can see all that daylight, and he may play his stronger units straight into that space.
Yep.
And it also looks like he's not going to be able to get that. Bakalol is going to be able to get that third city.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a catapult.
Bakalol can see where all of PQ's units are, so Bakalol knows that there isn't a second warrior to actually stop the capture of that city.
PQ doing some more scouting. He's pulling his warrior back. Ideally to prevent Bakalol getting a kill on it.
Yes.
Especially on these tiny maps. A lot of the better players do a lot of kill counting where they're keeping track of the number of kills that the opponent has got, because a well-timed, killer challenge completion and getting that Gate of Power monument can turn the tide so quickly. Yeah. So he's going to be very wary of that. And also looks like PQ is going to be able to get that. Bakalol is going to be able to get that third city. Oh, there's a catapult.
Yeah.
So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So he's going to be very wary of that. So
and even if that doesn't happen, just losing a unit to that doesn't do anything or like kills another unit really sucks unless you really need a new unit on the field.
Mm-hmm. And looks like that's what he's doing, sacrificing his warrior. Probably going to make another one in capital.
And he
And we're
doesn't
back.
actually make the warrior on his capital.
That's interesting. I wonder if he's saving for something. Especially, he's about to take his second city, so there might have been a consideration based on some technologies that he wanted to buy. He did just get riding and roads. 2 techs can be kind of expensive when you're just at one city.
Yeah.
So he might be trying to do something.
But now Bakalol is going both rider and roads. We're probably going to see a few chops so that he can actually use the roads, or at least upgrade his new city.
And he's going to road exactly.
Roads both his giant and his catapult, and now the city has very little it can do to stop him, stop Bakalol.
Yeah, this is exactly what you were talking about, where Pewq was kind of forced to be really aggressive here and pull his giant away from the middle. And Bakalol is just exploiting that space. Because now that even though Pewq is going to get that second city, he is so vulnerable in the back that it's not going to take much for Bakalol to have 2 to 3 giants right on his doorstep.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
no
in
matter
fact,
what, it seems almost as though no matter what happens, unless unless Pewq can get another giant, he might be in a sort of checkmate situation.
yeah, looking at the resources, it seems that he 1 forest, 2 fruits, and a farm. That's 4 population, and he's going to need 6 for that second giant. He hasn't used his Park of Fortune, though, yet. So it still looks possible. Oh, I think that with 2 fruits and the Park of Fortune monument, he should be able to get that second giant, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
I believe it will be yes, it will be 2 fruits, and there's the roads that he just connected, and the Park of Fortune. But he's spending a lot of his money on roads to keep going forward, so we'll see how much
Yeah,
he has left.
Yeah, another thing, the terrain in this map is really, really hard for Pewq because Bakalol has so many mountains right in front of his capital, and just that 1 or 2 small routes around it. Versus, there's not really a whole lot terrain-wise that's blocking Bakalol from getting to Pewq's capital. It's really unfortunate, and going for climbing in a game where he doesn't really have the resources that align too well with his, own capital. Going for mining wouldn't be so good because there's only 2 mountains inside the city borders for each of them.
Yeah.
So usually it's good to go climbing when there's the movement and the eco reasoning. Buckle is using roads to just march his giants right up onto Pewq's doorstep, and it's not looking like there's much he can do. And there is the resign.
Yeah.
And he's gonna make
And I think the biggest thing is that he couldn't get any of his cities fast enough, and he delayed getting that second city to play a bit defensive, not knowing that Bakalol wasn't going to contest it.
Yeah, it was a really smart play from Bakalol, causing the delay and baiting his Pewq's giant towards that south city and preparing the counter pressure, which he executed very well, very skillfully, using the catapult and road movements. It was just a very good play, and that's why he is one of the elite 1v1 players in the Polychamp server right now, and he's the current 1v1 bullet champion, and it's not for no reason. Well, this has. I think that's about it, right?
Yeah, I think that's it for this game. Well, that's it for this recording. So, thanks for watching this, and
We'll see you next time.